In Mrs Dalloway, Septimus Warren Smith throws himself from a window and dies on iron railings below. It is one of the most violent moments in modernist fiction. It is also one of the most beautiful, at least on the page. That tension is the real scandal of the novel. Septimus is a veteran of the Great War. He is haunted by Evans. He hears birds sing in ancient tongues. He sees messages blazing through the trees. Doctors diagnose a lack of proportion, prescribe rest, threaten seclusion. Sir William Bradshaw speaks the language of balance, conversion, moderation. Excess feeling must be corrected. Grief must be resized to fit society's scale. We are used to reading this as critique. Psychiatry is authoritarian. Proportion is social control. Septimus becomes the victim of a culture that cannot tolerate extremity. All of that is true, but it is not the deepest cut. Because proportion does not belong only to Bradshaw. It structures Clarissa Dalloway's party. It structures London. It structures the empire. And more disturbingly, it structures the novel itself. The narrative moves with exquisite balance, drifting from mind to mind. Even madness is given rhythm. Even terror is sculpted into sentences. When Septimus sees the world ignite with meaning, Woolf renders it luminous. His fractured consciousness becomes art. This is where the novel turns on itself. Septimus cannot convert his experience into something socially shareable. He cannot translate trauma into drawing room language. He cannot reduce Evans to a memory that fits the afternoon. His mind floods with meaning, or perhaps with the desperate need for meaning in a world shattered by mechanized slaughter. But Woolf can convert it. She takes his horror and makes it aesthetic. She gives it cadence. She makes us feel its intensity without being destroyed by it. His anguish becomes form. His death becomes structure. And we, reading, experience something dangerously close to pleasure. When Holmes approaches, Septimus does not deliver a manifesto. He panics. He cries out. He hurls himself from the window. The act is abrupt, almost animal. It is not framed as triumph. It is not clean resistance. It is terror colliding with confinement. Yet the novel absorbs the impact. News of the suicide travels to Clarissa's party. She withdraws. She reflects. She does not recoil. Instead, she feels strangely affirmed. The young man has preserved something. He has refused to let his soul be converted. His death makes her feel the beauty of life more intensely. Then she returns to her guests. Look carefully at what has happened. A traumatized veteran lies broken on railings. His death becomes, for Clarissa, a moment of metaphysical clarity. The party continues. The empire remains intact. Proportion reasserts itself. Septimus, who could not metabolize the war, becomes the fuel for someone else's heightened consciousness. And the novel does the same. Without his death, the party risks triviality. Without the violent rupture, the evening lacks depth. Septimus supplies the shock that electrifies the narrative. He is the sacrificial charge that gives the book its voltage. Woolf is not naive about this. The fluid movement between minds suggests that private suffering is never sealed off. Consciousness bleeds into consciousness, but the form itself performs a kind of conversion. Raw catastrophe becomes meaningful pattern. Trauma becomes art. The unsettling possibility is this. Civilization may survive by aestheticizing what it cannot repair. Clarissa survives because she can turn death into beauty. She can feel the abyss and then return to the room. She can hold grief within proportion. Septimus cannot. He exceeds the allowable measure. But we, as readers, are closer to Clarissa than to Septimus. We experience his vision safely. We admire the prose. We call the novel profound. We leave feeling sharper, more awake. His suffering has intensified our consciousness. The question the novel leaves hanging is not whether psychiatry is cruel or whether society demands conformity. It is whether art itself participates in the same conversion it critiques. Is sanity merely a shared agreement about how much reality we are willing to feel? And when reality becomes unbearable, do we heal it? Or do we arrange it beautifully enough to endure? Septimus breaks against the railings because he cannot perform that arrangement. Clarissa can. Woolf can. We can. And that may be the most disturbing proportion of all. So let me ask you this. Do we transform suffering into meaning? Or do we beautify it so we don't have to face it? Is art a form of understanding, or a refined way of surviving what we refuse to fix?